Turn your radio up. Weekend work is now on. This is how it should be done. On Shade45.
Share procedure.
It's the Bad Boys at Night, Love and L Coach PR. This is Weekend Work, and we're working on the weekend as usual. PR, we got a special guest zooming in with us tonight.
Straight out of Harlem. Making his mark in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly,
he's from Queens.
From Queens.
And you know how we feel about people from Queens, right?
See the hat, right? See the hat, right, bro? All right, so look, we had a little technical difficulties last week, but
yeah,
like he said, like Jerome said, she ain't gonna beat us this week. Yo, Mr. Amin Joseph, man. AKA Jerome Singh.
Where's Jerome Singh from?
From Queens.
I know. What show, you know?
Snowfall, bro.
All right, well, make sure you gotta let people know.
Yeah, Snowfall, man. Thank you, Amin. Appreciate you for pulling up on us, man. Appreciate everything, bro.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me.
Yes, man.
Yo, so where you located at right now?
Right now, I'm in LA.
LA? So you know, through the pandemic, I know they supposed to be opening up soon. Like, how you been working out there through all this nonsense?
It's been crazy, man. It's been crazy. I haven't been home in a year. It's like I haven't been home in like a year and a month because I went home in February. So I've been out here for a full year. We end up shutting down, pandemic wise. We end up shutting down around I think it was March 12th with the show, and we were down all the way to September. We picked up from September and shot all the way to the beginning of February. So it took us almost an entire calendar year to shoot. So I had been out here all of that time.
So that was like the first season, the first part of this episode of season, and then the second part, because it came out when we just dropped in March, right?
Yeah, we just dropped the beginning of March, but the way it played out is usually we're a summer show. So we wasn't able to air this summer because we had only had about 3 episodes in the can. Right. So we had to come back and pick up. Maybe we got into episode 4 before we shut down, but by and large, we did the majority of the filming after the pandemic had already hit, and we picked it up in September. So from September to January, basically, almost to February, we finished the season.
I know LA had shut down. They had went back in the phase because the numbers that got out of control out there for a little while.
I ain't hear you very well.
I said the numbers of the virus had went out of control out there for a minute, so they had shut that down again last year.
Yeah, it was. Y'all know how this thing is. I can't tell what's going on, but all I know is that my family is safe here. Luckily, some of my family back home got it. It was a couple of scares for a moment because it put you in a vulnerable position when you can't even travel to go see family that is sick and all of that type of stuff. So that was, the numbers here was crazy, allegedly.
Allegedly all over.
Turn your radio up. Weekend work is now on. This is how it should be done. On Shade45.
Share procedure.
But I know that the Snowfall is executive produced by John Singleton. How was it working with John Singleton?
Man, working with John, that's a legend, That's John is on the ancestor realm, but while he was here, he made sure that he took care of people when he was in the physical form, you know what I mean? Like John always, I've watched John meet people just being out. We could be going out to lunch and John will meet a valet. And if the valet came up to John and was like, hey, look, I really, I know what you do, Mr. Singleton, I just need a shot. I've watched John take that person and that person would end up, I wouldn't even know it. They would talk, share information. Maybe, we go on, if we're at an event or something.
Right.
You look around 2 weeks later on set, you would see that person maybe working, security, maybe working with craft services, maybe working, he would find a way to employ people. And it wasn't just out of, you know, it wasn't just a thing where, oh, he's just nonchalantly putting people on. He would find the best and the brightest. And I consider myself and all of the people that he's touched career-wise. That's a true economy. That's really bringing jobs to people. You know what I mean? Like if you really look at Snowfall employs thousands of people here in Los Angeles. And a lot of these people, John handpicked. So, you know, it's just a testament to who he was and the way that we need to carry out, keep his legacy.
How was it growing up in Harlem?
Man, well, first I grew up in Queens, right? And growing up in Queens was crazy. I ended up moving from Queens when I was about 10 or 11. And I moved to Harlem. So, you know, like my times were in Harlem. But, you know, I'm Queens to the core. But growing up, you know, your high school times, the music that you influenced by, the Harlem neighborhood is very small. And it was fun, man. I grew up in a time where it still was like Grant's Tomb. And, I grew up in the world famous Apollo Theater. So I got to see all of the, like from the times of, let's say, like Rex and Effects and seeing my peers get on, seeing Cam get on and Mace, and it was just a good time to be young and carefree and fun, and
So you came up with Cam and Mace. That's what you're pretty much saying. It was a part of it. You're a part of that generation.
Cam, I know Tito. A lot of Cam's people went to Rice with me. Huddy, I know Hud 6. We all went to high school. God rest the dead.
Wow. Did you went to Rice? Did you play ball with Jermaine?
Jermaine Grant?
Yeah, because he's the one that actually hooked us, hooked us.
Jermaine like a big brother to me. Jermaine, we both come from St. Nick Project. So I ran with Corey, Jermaine younger brother. That's one of my best friends. So Jermaine, like, that's my heart, you know what I mean? Like, you remember what happened to Jermaine with the whole
Garden State, right? Was that the Garden State?
Yeah. Jersey, Garden State, whatever the fuck, man. They destroyed my man's career.
Yeah, one of them played basketball and was shot by the police.
Yeah, Johnny Cochran was on that case. Big shout out to the other brothers, part of the Jersey Five. My man Danny Reyes. Right. It was disgusting what they did to him. But that's my neighborhood. That's my people, and love Harlem, man. I can't wait to get back. I'm gonna come back up. I think I'm gonna come back the beginning of the summer. I'm gonna let this thing go by. I'm gonna let this whole virus thing kind of chill, and then I'm gonna come back up top.
How was it casting for the role of Jerome Saint?
Yo, it went by quick the second time, but a lot of people don't know that this role was cast before. Actually, DeRay and Lauren London played Aunt Louie and Jerome. Yeah, and as you know, DeRay's still on the. That's a testament to John. That's a testament to John right there, because John originally saw Sissy Saint, that's played by Michael Hyatt, was originally played by Jill Scott. So it was Jill Scott, DeRay, Unc, Lauren was Aunt Louie, and that was one of the original iterations of Snowfall. What happened is that they did that pilot and some other things didn't work out with the pilot, and they ended up doing it again. And when they did it again, they recast me as Unc. And I had gone in for it the first time. So I knew Damson, I knew DeRay, I knew a couple of other people. But yeah, that's kind of like the story that a lot of people don't know, that a lot of times with pilots, especially on FX, the network that we're on, FX as a network and studio, oftentimes they will do a pilot and they'll take pieces that they like, they'll move around pieces until they get it right. And that's the version that you'll see.
Did you know a real Jerome Saint and to practice your role? Did you ever?
I mean, we grew up. The main thing that I did with this character, because I'm a character dude, I went to theater school, so I'm about my, the thespian part of acting. But for me, it was like we all know a Jerome Saint, in my opinion, because the people that I took was people that I grew up with in Queens and in Harlem. I took those men that I grew up with in a time where men could, speak unabashedly. Men could be, much more machismo, much more truth to power, much more the block that I'm on, the square that I'm on, that I run that I am that. And also a sort of, a common sense, a street smarts that I see missing with a lot of the, just times change, let's just say. So I got I grew up around those men. I grew up around uncles and cousins that were older than me that influenced me. And then to me, if you take that authenticity and then you apply it to the times here in South California, in Southern California, if you take the people that came, the great migration from the South, like Texas and Louisiana, and the Gary, Indiana. Some people went to New York, some people went to the Midwest, a lot of people went west. And for those people that went west, those are the people like Jerome Saint that probably got family from those places in the South and through that migration went there. So they got that on them. It's a little Southern thing in them. But then it's Central, then it's South Central. And the culture that's here, that what influenced these men, the music, the politics, so and the weather, the drugs, the Panthers, right. All you mix all of that stuff together, and it's peppery, and that's the kind of thing that I did to put together someone like Jerome. But the base of that, I believe wherever you're from, you should relate to the dude because that's my uncles.
Everybody got an uncle like that.
Yeah. Turn your radio up. Weekend Work is now on. This is how it should be done. On Shade45.
Share procedure.
So, born in Queens, raised in Harlem. G-Unit or Dipset?
Oh, you're gonna do that to me.
Yeah, I got to, man.
Got to, bro.
You're gonna do that to me.
Got to. I got an idea what you gonna say too.
I'm gonna go with Dip.
What you think he gonna say? Nah, I'm gonna say Harlem. Go ahead.
I'm going with Dipset.
Harlem.
I'm going with Dip. I told you it's about your times. You know, it's about your time. The truth is when I connect to Queens, I connect to really when I connect to Queens, I connect to leaders. I connect to that era because that's when I was really young. That's what was influencing me then. Okay. I connect to and to leaders of the new school. That was what was to my heart when I was in Queens. So, the 50 era was really past my time. You know what I mean? I was out of college. You know what I mean? It's a different time. But the Dipset era that's when I was going to clubs. That's when I was having fun.
Did you have pink on?
Did I get what?
You wear pink hats and pink bandanas and stuff?
Nah. Yeah, I'm a fan of the music and everything, but that's a little much for me. For my personal taste, I'm not, that's a little too flamboyant for me. I'm a little bit more muted than to wear entire pink outfits. But you feel me? But I love it though. I love it. That's Harlem.
So what's next for you, man? What you doing after Snowfall? You got anything else you're working on?
Yeah, I have a few things. I have a couple of films that I'm producing. One of them is coming out. It's on the market right now. It's called The Royal. It's about a baseball player that dealt with some draconian drug laws. His name is Willie Mays Aiken, and he ended up getting 1 year after going to the World Series, hitting back-to-back home runs in World Series, which had never been done before. he was out of baseball. He got a mandatory minimum sentence of 24 years for selling crack cocaine to an undercover police officer. So it's a redemption story about his life, about him coming back, getting his life back in order after having that wicked type of sentencing destroy most of his Major League Baseball career and his life.
Can't wait to see that. That sounds dope. Did you know, because you worked I saw you, you worked on a lot of projects. I first saw you in Zane's Chronicles. I think Zane's, you were a rapper, right? And
yeah.
Did you ever work with somebody as far as Damson Idris on that type of level? Because I didn't know he was a brick. And like when I found out, I was like, oh shit, like this guy is incredible, but he killed it.
Yeah, he nice. Have I worked with another actor like that, you saying?
Yeah, like on that level, because for him to be like, because I've noticed there's a lot of Brits that can really kill the roles in America, right? But you don't see that vice versa, you know?
Really? I don't know.
I don't see a lot of Americans going like just killing a Brit character.
I feel like there ain't a lot of Brit characters, period. You feel me? Like, so this is how I see it, because a lot of times, there's been a lot of controversy about Brits coming to America, taking roles. Like you got Daniel Kaluuya right now, that hopefully he'll win an Oscar for Judas in The Black Messiah, playing Fred Hampton, the chairman, and he did an amazing job. And a lot of people, you'll hear a lot of people like, yo, why a lot of the Brits, David Oyelowo with playing Martin Luther King, it's like, why are these Brits getting these jobs? They're taking jobs from American actors. And so I just see it different. If you take New York, there's so many actors in New York that work. There's so many me's. There's so many Makai's and Omar Epps and Denzel Washingtons and Al Pacino's and Robert De Niro's and you know what I mean? Like Wesley Snipes. These are all just New York dudes. And I'm naming really good dudes. I can name a bunch of scrubs that got full careers, that they not that nice, but that's how many actors are just in New York. So we taking a whole country, which is the UK, and saying their whole country, here's the best out of their country. So when you get a Damson Idris, you got to recognize that he represents the best. The best from there, not just the average. The average New York actor that's good is going to have a long career, but it takes the best for you to know Damson Idris. You know what I mean? And so I think, I don't think the young man is nice. Yeah. No one played that role with the same type of pace and inflections and charisma and intellect, and not get in trouble. And that's another thing. A lot of the Brits, they when the job, they're not, you know what I mean? Like you ain't hearing about no fights breaking out on set. You ain't hearing about them doing nothing crazy in the press. All of those things should be considered when we look at them. But as far as him doing, the accent, I don't think it's much different. He grew up watching the same television that we grew up watching. So that's like me doing Uncle Jerome. I don't talk like how Uncle Jerome talks. So it's acting. My body language isn't the same. None of it. So I don't get the same props. You know what I mean? Why? Because we grew up in the same, the UK is sometimes closer to certain parts of the United States than the West Coast is to certain parts of the United States. You know what I mean? So when you really look at it, it's just, he's a good actor. He's a really good actor. And everything else is, we all Black, we all in the diaspora, and whoever's nice should get the job.
Let me hear your Brit accent.
That ain't happening.
It ain't happening.
Yo, Amin, man, appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for pulling up on us, man, on Weekend Work, bro. So when you come back, you need to come on and holler at us live, bro.
Definitely. I got to touch down and check you guys out. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Yo. Turn your radio up. Weekend Work is now on.
This is how it should be done.
On Shade 45.
Procedure.